Hi, welcome to one of my lessons. This one will be about creating characters that are popular and very well known, making them different. Very difficult to do. I love Shakespeare and I have done none of the plays formally, but I have recited them in my mind forever and ever and ever in the most perfect British accent, Middle English accent, which I cannot do as well as I would hope. But one of the characters that I've always wanted to do, it's one of my big dreams, is the character of Titania. Titania is a fairy queen who is Oberon's partner and wife. And she is one of the key parts to the whole crazy affair that is A Midsummer Night's Dream. Oberon, her counterpart, is a fairy king, and they are offset by the pixies and the fairies. She has the fairies and the pixies are all over the place. The fairies, just so you know, I've written a story about this that will come possibly later in the future, hopefully, are mythical creatures. They have special powers and they are represented in writing and literature in different ways. Pixies, which I also use, are much like fairies, but they're a little bit more mischievous, misbehaved, and rowdy, and they like to get into trouble or get people into trouble, rather. They're pranksters. So this is the overall idea of what takes place in Act 2 and Scene 1 of A Midsummer Night's Dream. I did a little bit of a representation that I think I need to keep working on, Titania, where she's talking to Oberon about his professed secret sort of love for Hippolyta. And they have a little bit of a quarrel, which prompts Oberon to grab the juice of a flower and use it to create a spell that makes Titania fall in love with him, and in the end, trouble ensues, and people fall in love with the wrong people, and it's all a crazy mess until the end. It is one of my favorite plays, and I've seen it live performed in a really strange way. I think people don't know what to do with this play. I was invited to participate here in Panama to the play. I was unfortunately not able to be part of it. But hopefully in the future I would be at some point. In any case, I want to develop the character of Titania further. I did a little scene which I will be posting separately so you can see what a more traditional version of Titania is and a more modernized version of Titania is. And it's not modern completely. It's got a little bit of a modern take when it comes to the language, which is more understandable for people. Middle English, Old English is really difficult to understand, especially when it comes to Shakespeare. But my idea is how to take these characters from what they are and making them what they should be. So here's a quick lesson, and this should be fast. I'm wearing my regular clothes, and I just adapted to sort of make it look like it's from a time period, and I have these things that I make into different crowns, and I wear my hair in a different way, and it sort of works. The first part for most people to create a character is embodying the character. So this is the first thing I want you to do with me. What does it take to embody a character? Do you have to, for you, do you have to dress like the part? Do you have to feel the part? More method? Do you have to think about it, read it out loud, and create a voice? How do you feel the character? How do you get that first feel? Especially when it's a character so well known and you want to sort of make it a little bit of a different character. So next up, I will be posting another part of how to create a character, but this is the first level of it for me. Embodying it. How do you do it? For me in particular, it's depends on the character. Hippolyta, Titania is more about let's not get mixed up here, Puck. It's more about embodying the personality of a queen. Queens are mostly proper, well-behaved, and sort of trained to be queens. They become it by acquisition, and they are sort of forced into it. So to me, it's almost like they have a naughty, sort of angry attitude about being a queen, and they're empowered, and they're used to that power. So I usually see it as that kind of thing. You're a queen, and you have to represent your title, but you also hate it. See, what I'm wearing is kind of like me being sort of inventive with my things and using the power of lighting and a little bit of makeup. I try to create what I can to best describe how this character feels to me. Sometimes we do this in theater and in films, and it doesn't translate to people. I think what translates is how it feels to you, and then you can personify the character. So the first part would be embodying the character by sort of becoming the part by dressing it. What if it's a simple character, you sort of dress it down, or if it's an elegant character, you sort of dress it up. And this is something that a lot of people who have a background in theater will tell you. Nothing feels closest to the character until the minute you have that first dress rehearsal. When you have that first dress rehearsal, that's exactly when you know this character is mine, and I embody it because I feel it. She is there. So I'm going to do, I'm posting the actual texts later that I did, but I am going to show you a little bit of it as I continue to record here to post on YouTube. So this is the more formal version of Titania, and it's the part where it's written in the original form for Shakespeare. In this scene, she is encountering Oberon, and they're having a discussion about who loves whom, and they look like they're jealous of each other, but they look, or they seem to be, they feel like, to me, they're just angry because they're not getting their way. Titania is not jealous, but she's spiteful, I think, more than angry. And she says to Oberon, "What? Jealous, Oberon?" And then she talks to her fairies. "Fairies, skip hence, I forsworn his bed and company." She is telling them that she won't be with him anymore. And that gets them a little bit going, upset, right? And this is because she has found out that he's been flirting with Hippolyta, who he is really in love with. And this is where all the trouble starts. She says, "When thou I love this and hate it. When thou hast stolen from fairyland, and in the shape of crowns sat all day playing on pipes of corn and versing love to amorous Philida, why art thou here? Come from the farthest steppes of India." So that's a more formal way of saying what she says, where in the more modern version of it, the modernized, I try to use a little bit of the same kind of accent, but in this sense, the language, the way it is spoken and phrased, a little bit different. So, what are you? What are you? What are you? Jealous. Let's massage our faces, make it soft. There we go. What Are you jealous? Oh, Fairies, let's get out of here. I've sworn I'll never sleep. Again. Fairies, let's get out of here. I've sworn I'll never sleep or talk to him again. So it's the same attitude, but the language is a little bit different. I know for a fact that you snuck away from Fairyland disguised as a shepherd and spent all day playing straw pipes and singing love poems to your new girlfriend. The only reason you left India was to come here and see that butch Amazon Hippolyta. So kind of the same attitude, what changes the language? What makes it different? Could we do this in a different accent? Could we use a Hispanic accent? Could we use an American accent? I think it would change the way that the character is perceived completely. But the rule here is, excuse me, we have to personify this character. And the first part of it is embodying it. So from me, Titania, and Oberon, make sure you have the imagination to fly and the idea that any character can become yours if the time is right. Here's some fairy dust, and see you next time.